Hiya. So I wanted to come on and kind of update you, um, as we said we would, on the whole X situation. Um, I have been doing obviously a lot of processing. Heidi and I have been talking a lot, and I guess the things that have come up for me is I think a lot of regret that I didn't handle this, handle my business sooner, basically, so that we wouldn't even be in this position. Because when Heidi and I were dating casually and not exclusive, um, I had full opportunity to handle this. I was still dating and going back to New York and dating, and I was kind of going through that am I ready to be settled down phase. And because when Heidi and I reconnected, as we've told you, I not only was, fresh off my ex, but also it kind of made myself this like, okay, I'm going to give myself like 2 years to have fun and kind of live life. And, I was like on all the dating apps and the celebrity secret dating app, and I was just like, I'm just going to kind of get over her and live life and kind of see where it takes me. And then within 2 years, I kind of want to start, have that in my mind of like 2 years, I want to start settling down. And then, as of course you can't plan life, Heidi and COVID and all the things that happened. And suddenly I remember when I reconnected with Heidi, obviously the plan, like we've said, was to just have one fun night, like friends from the past that never got to explore that. And now we're, both like women, and I'm across the country, and she's a mom with 3 kids in a minivan, and I'm, you know, in New York doing my thing and traveling and living life on that side of the country. And we knew that we could stay friends and that wouldn't really be in jeopardy. So it's like, oh, this will just be fun. And obviously, we didn't work the plan. But also, what I should have anticipated, but I did not anticipate, was once I was with Heidi, I was like, oh fuck. Because I was like a serial dater and loved dating, loved swiping, loved dating apps. And so Heidi teases that I should swipe for my friends because I don't want to go on the dates. I just want to be able to swipe for them because I'm like one of the few that actually likes dating apps. And probably because I met so many incredible people off them, even though they weren't my person, like it was just a really, good experience for me. And so I just really didn't take into account that there's something Heidi hates. She hates that everyone in her life, and I didn't know this and I did it too, we all say the same phrase. Like she's had from when she was young, when she was, a teenager, or maybe even before that, I don't know, all the way up until now, people always say, well, you're Heidi Joe Post. And she's like, what does that mean? Like she does not understand it, and people never will explain it to her. They're just like, you're Heidi Joe Post, or you're Heidi Post. And it's just its own explanation, and we all get it. But it's hard to put into words. And so she is always like dying to know what that means. And I felt and said the same thing. Like when she was really wanting to know, when we reconnected, I had known her as this badass, like soccer player, like fit, tan, in her youth, person when I had first met her. And when we reconnected, she had went through a horrible divorce, and she had decided she was not going to date, until her kids were 18, which was 10 years away. She had decided she was swearing off women, but only want to be with women. And so, because she was saying for her family she was going to go back to men, but then didn't really want to actually do that, so she was like, I'm just going to eat everything in sight, and just wanted, this is from her words, just wanted to basically push anyone she could away and just like make it so she didn't have to deal with the attention and the dating and the being pursued, and she just kind of wanted to make this buffer. And also just coming out of, abuse and with food and different things like that, and just being able to, and fitness and stuff like that. So she would just like, I just want to push it all away. And so when I reconnected with her, she was like, I was extremely overweight and insecure about that. And I was, like doing everything to not have someone attracted to me. And she's like, and you were someone dating supermodels and fitness models. And she's like, so why, why me? Like, I just thought, that's why she was like, that's why I was so even shocked and asking you all those questions and pushing away when we were going to have the one fun night and asking if you're just being nice. And she's like, I was really trying to get to, why would you want to do this? And then why are you, wanting to choose me over, everyone else? And the first thing that comes to my mind is, you're Heidi Jo Post. Like, and she's like, what does that mean? Like, she's like, oh, now we're fighting. And it always comes down to, which I wrote her a card recently and was like, as I was writing, I'm like, oh, I think I just explained your Heidi Jo Post. And she's like, oh my gosh, someone finally put it into words. But when you're loved by Heidi, when you are one of the chosen few that gets to be in her innermost vulnerable spaces, it's not just a rare thing to meet someone like Heidi. And all my dating and meeting and traveling the world and friendships, I have never known a love like Heidi's. I've never met anyone like Heidi. Her brain, her heart, her level of judgment free, her level of authenticity, vulnerability, her level of communication, of acceptance, of unconditional love. It is beyond rare to find. And so when I had the one fun night with her and then realized this wasn't just this fun thing of this friend that I, obviously had a crush on when I was a teen and obviously was mesmerized by her, but it was like, oh, I'm in trouble, because this is now something that like I don't want to be without. And so I'm trying to go back to my casual life, and I'm like, I'd been got. And so pretty quickly, even though I fought it for a long time because I was not wanting to settle down, I pretty quickly was saying things to friends and family and exes and people I was dating. Like, it suddenly became all about Heidi and all, talking about her on dates, which did not go over well. And letting exes know, like, I know you thought I was just gonna be around, and they were like, oh, you're about to be wifed up. And I was like, this is real. Like, once I commit to Heidi, like, you don't then break up with Heidi. Like, that's not a thing. Like, this is Heidi. So it was just very clear to me that it's like when you meet that person that you're like, oh, this is not someone you just have fun with. This is like the real deal. This is what people talk about. And that was so startling for me. Like, it just hit me so quickly and then terrified me. And then I ran. But even my family was like, whoa, like, it was out of left field where I was suddenly very changed very quickly and very much like, this is different than anything I've ever known. And So, and I think I talked in one of our podcasts about how I started researching what love is, and I mean, it was like a whole thing. So, I there were times that I was supposed to leave and get on a plane and go and actually, I mean, this is when we had just had a fun night, and I was supposed to go meet up with an ex that had been a huge plan. It was a guy actually, and from another country, and we had been, long lost loves for years and had reconnected and actually had been making plans of reconciliation. And I was supposed to go see him and ended up not getting on the plane. And then telling him that's okay, I'll get on the plane tomorrow, and still not getting on the plane. And then the next day, and then finally being like, I'm gonna see you, but it's not gonna be now. So hopefully there's another chance. I know you live in another country, and of course did not know that COVID was right around the corner, and that then everything in my life would change. And so never saw him again. But it was the same feeling of I don't want to leave this woman. I don't want to go away for a week. I don't want to go away for 2 weeks. I don't want to, I just want to stay here. And so I just would find every reason not to leave. And I mean, I obviously finally got on the plane. And then, as you know, I then, came to put my cat down in Northern California. And the next thing I know, I go to visit here for a few days on my way back to New York, and I'm locked down, and that was the end. But it has just always kind of been the same thing. So I've been bringing this up because I've been dealing with that now, where it's very much that I have been asked to handle this. I've been asked to see this person. I've been asked to not just given permission, or encouraged, but it's been requested of me, and I keep putting it off because there's just a lot to sit with, and and the realization of I love my life, and I love my wife, and I love my kids, and though I know that there's permission and that we have already decided we're not breaking up, and Heidi's someone you can take her at her word. If she tells you that, that is it. But that doesn't mean there won't be repair work, and that doesn't mean it doesn't come with risk. And is the risk too big? And what are other ways that I can get my closure and give Heidi what she needs out of this and what I need out of this without causing that risk and without harm also to my ex, honestly. I see a lot of harm coming to her out of this as well, because once I'm solidified in my decision that I am where I want to be, where does that leave her? I mean, at what cost am I getting closure to her as well, when she has been very open and her feelings and her grief in this, and I'm opening that up on her again? And what is that going to do to me? I think I know what that's going to be like, but what is that going to be like? Walking away, opening that back up, and then having to shut that down, and then walking back into, my life again, where I then have to, as I'm reeling from now going through something from my past, I'm walking through a door to immediately need to switch on my reassuring and making Heidi know she's the one and feeling chosen, while I'm still grieving something I've opened up and went through, and having to hold all that at the same time with hurting someone that I really care about, and hurting myself, and hurting the person that I love that I'm coming home to, and having to reconcile all of that, and that is terrifying and seems like a lot.